Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And right now, it looks like we have Steel Division Normandy 44 on our menu here. Rang,
Mm-hmm.
this looks like Omaha, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just definitely looks like Omaha. And today we have a 1v1.
Exactly. So who do we got? Actually, I can't say. We looks like we have some Enzo over here again. We definitely have a couple of cast them recently,
Mm-hmm.
but who's he facing off against?
Well, he is facing off against Abuvaverage. I'm just going to call him Average, and he's playing the most average division, the 15 Scotch. And like
Uh,
you mentioned, we're fighting against Enzo as a 352nd Infantry Division.
no, I don't want to go and cut you off too quickly, but at the
They,
same time, I think that's above average.
yeah, they're
I've
pretty
been, I've been
above
practicing. I've
average.
been practicing my online multiplayer names here, making sure what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like above average.
Oh, okay. I just got yeah.
There we go.
Yep,
There
there
we
we
go.
go.
So
That flew over my head originally, but
yeah, that's fine. That's
that
fine.
was an
That's what
above
that's what I'm here
average
for, to keep
joke.
it level.
Yep.
All right, so we know what to see out of the 15th Infantry, don't we? We already see that AVRE up in the
Oh
northern
yeah.
side of the map.
Do love the Avra, and that up top, that's gonna do pretty well in that town fight. Not because he can get it into the town, but on the outskirts. You know, there's not really many places to stick an AT gun where an Avra can't fire back. As you see, those old apple orchards aren't the best spot for anti-tank weaponry.
And for that matter, what are we going to expect out of Enzo's guys then? I mean, the 52nd doesn't have a lot of anti-armor assets early, do they?
No, they do have that rear Panjäger 35. It's decent. It's really just quite decent. Just comes down to using regular grenadiers, horse trooping, support guns, and artillery to hopefully win the battle. And I think an artillery piece up north here for Enzo do him wonders, as he does have quite a bit of a line of sight blocker. So being able to shoot over would definitely do him some good work.
You do say that, but at the same time, I'm kind of checking this out. I don't see any actual indirect fire at all. I'm seeing a ton of infantry, which is
Mm-hmm.
definitely the bread and butter here,
Yep.
but not that much indirect fire.
Now, for the Scotch themselves, they can only get a 2-inch carrier, which is terrible. It's downright terrible. But for Enzo, he gets some very nice options, some decent mortars that you can get early on. Of course, later you can get neighbor Werthers and all the fancy, and the SK-18s. Oh, the SK-18s. But yeah, just not too much in terms of indirect. Very close, a lot of infantry.
I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, for myself to see some kind of anti-tank assets deployed down to the south as well as this tank. I'm kind of wondering, are we going to see a big push out of Enzo on the flanks initially, do you think?
The flanks would probably be pretty decent because he does have those Panjägers, does give him a bit of tank advantage because, well, fighting against the Stuart's kind of even between the Panjäger and the Stuart. But yeah, hopefully he can do something along the flanks. I think Avarice is going to give him a real kicking up north here unless he can do something about it because yeah, our
Well, actually,
Panjäger can barely pen it.
I do see that we are actually into the game right
Mm-hmm.
now. So take a look at the initial deployments for both sides. It's kind of interesting to me. We see the Scotch are really kind of hanging together. The Germans seem to be slightly more spread out. What do you think about the beginning of this here?
I'm noticing in the middle here from the Scotch, and yeah, it does have the Stuart, a few infantry guys, so it seems like he's just going to go for the defensive, yeah. And even down south too. I think, yeah, it definitely looks like for above average, he's trying to go pretty heavy up north, especially with that Avra play. And same with Enzo, so I'm thinking the northern side is really going to be the meat of the match at the beginning.
I would definitely agree with you there. Now, I do have to ask you the question. But looking at that Stewart in the center part of the map, and
Mm-hmm.
at least I don't have it on my particular recording, but check out where that Stewart's going to be going. He doesn't seem to be in a particularly strong spot now,
Nope,
does he?
that's a bit of a silly spot. It's that close. And you may want to unload his infantry to start moving him up. And even if he was to penetrate through that tree line, it's still very risky because you got all the other tree lines, potential anti-tank threats. I don't know what he's really trying to do with that Stuart because it can't exactly project much power in that location.
No, I do also want to get into it as well that we already have our first death up the northern side. The
Mm-hmm.
MG for the Germans has already gone down to that house, but it does look like that Panzerjäger that you mentioned before, that 35R,
Mm-hmm.
is throwing a couple of rounds down range. But I have to say that AVRE is getting closer and closer with that Death Star cannon.
Oh, it's so close, and yeah, it could definitely kill the Panzerjäger if it's Death Star cannon. Don't you agree?
I would think so, and I
Oh,
think the Panzerjäger is really only going to be able to penetrate if it's much closer than it is, doesn't it?
yep.
And shockingly enough, the Panzerjäger actually lives. I'm actually really, really surprised to see that.
Yeah, the shot just kind of ran a little bit to the left, yeah, and so it didn't get a direct hit on the Panjäger, but enough to realize for it to run away, and that's just going to clear up the opening for above average to move into the town.
I mean, here's some MG fire to the south. It does look like that 204. Okay, so the Honey Stewart actually redeployed slightly.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly enough, we're going to see a P3 coming on in for the 352nd. So help me out. The early armor assets for the 352nd, what are we looking at other than that Panzerjäger? Is it just that P3?
You can get the Panjäger, you can get the Renault 35, which is one of the rarest tanks in game, but it's still a tank, and the Panzer III, you can get them in A phase, but you can only get them in packs of 1. For in B phase, you can get them into packs of 2. So it's rather risky taking that early Panzer III compared to getting the B phase runs, but having just a proper light tank would definitely help out Enzo in this early game.
And how are you feeling right now, actually, about this kind of command superiority, let's call it, that's really being exercised by the British side of things, the Scots side of things?
Oh yeah, quite a few. Here we got the command units in the center. Run up top too. Really, those rifle leaders are bloody useful because, of course, the command radius. They are 2-star command, so they do have a larger aura, and also they got a Piat. And none of the other mainline infantry dudes have Piat, so having that anti-tank weapon nearby, even though it's not the most effective, is still useful. You do want that to deal with, even just the light half tracks and whatnot.
And we've seen actually our first reinforcements coming in on the UKF. Oh, sorry, excuse me again, the Scots. I'm stuck in co-language for a second. But we've seen some anti-tank guns. Why do you think we're not seeing the same thing over from Enzo's side of the map?
I think Enzo's is pretty happy using the Panzerjägers as his main anti-tank force, and seems like he wants to be a bit more aggressive, so using the Panzerjägers, which are mobile anti-tank guns, will definitely...
Ooh! Sorry, a Panzerjäger just went down. Aviary lofted that round over top of the houses. That was a shame to watch.
That's such a tight shot, damn. But yeah, I saw it, and that shows that the Avuvaverage, it will kill everything indiscriminately.
But it's not just the Avuvaverage. I mean, we just see now the Honey Stewart took out that P3, so the P3 was on the map for about 3 seconds, and they got taken right back out.
That's not good. This is real good projection here from above average, penetrating through its middle area. Now that Stuart's starting to get into some better territory where it can do some work. And the main problem here for Enzo, one of the disadvantages of 352nd is your infantry, unlike a lot of German infantry, don't have anti-tank weaponry, the Grenadiers and Osttroopen, so he's going to have to rely on using Fusiliers, light vehicles, the Panjägers, to really try and deal with this armor threat.
Now, I'm not sure if you just caught this as well, but there's a 6-pounder that went down to the southern side, on the southern front, let's call it. And that Panzerjäger in the south also got taken on out, so I'm wondering if we have seen the end of the early armor assets for the 352nd.
Yeah, losing the Panzer III is definitely quite a big blow, because he probably only has one of them during the A phase, so he can't get another till B. And then even in B, all he can get is Stugs, which isn't exactly too much.
Well, let's think again. I mean, the Shrug themselves are probably pretty fantastic inside, quite tight kind of urban settings, but out in this open fields, even with these hedgerows, probably still pretty much a death sentence, isn't it?
It's not too much. It's just that it's a little bit mediocre. The main thing is that they don't have 1.2 kilometer range and only 1 kilometer range. So if Wolverines were to be brought up from above average, the Stag will have a bit of a difficulty.
That's fair indeed. On the southern side, we are going to see that Enzo is managing to stem off this kind of British attack. The command carrier did go down. I think maybe it was an MMG carrier going on down. And we're seeing the first bit of indirect fire coming out for Enzo, but it's awfully advanced. I mean, we're looking at it just basically right behind.
I would say IG-18 gun.
But even then, do you think that's really the best option? Now we have a Honey Stewart up here with that triple machine gun, as well as just everything else.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit optimistic, and considering that all this stuff's been pinned down in the south, I think you may want to pull it back a little bit. And too bad that Panzerstrike isn't just a bit closer, because it could probably knock out Honey Stewart, because that's a real pain in the butt down south for Enzo.
A couple small bits of life and light for the Germans, though. I mean, up in the northern side, they are very hard-pressed, losing a Fusilier squad in that house just on the outside of town. But that 204 has been able to break the tracks of that Honey Stewart, at least. So at least he turned it into a gun emplacement as opposed to more mobile attack.
Yeah, definitely a good hit, yeah. And I think 204 is going to be coming in for round 2. a little bit risky considering how high morale damage he was, and as you can see, he can't get the kill and is forced to fall back. And I was to say, damn, the Scots are doing a great job using armor advantage. They have command carriers, MMG carriers, tanks all over the map, and they're using that to completely wipe the floor of Enzo.
It definitely is a shock. That IG-18 turns out to be exactly the medicine you expected over from the German side of things. Does look like he's trying to put fire down into that Honey Stewart, or at the very, very least, kind of throwing rounds down that main road now, isn't he?
Yeah, to stand a lot of choke point. All he can really do is stun up the Stewart for a bit. It's going to be great against the other targets, but he really just needs some where he has the Panzer Strike, but maybe some other dedicated anti-tank weaponry. But he's already used up quite a few of his Panzerjägers, so I doubt that he has really much in terms of tanks till Phase B.
I mean, we are approaching Phase B, but it seems to be at a glacial pace by comparison. Right now, it is 52 to 48%. The Allies are taking back on those points there.
Yeah, it's very close on points.
I do want to point out as well, we are going to see a Kubelwagen come up in the north with some anti-armor weaponry here, but we did see the last Panzerjäger going on down. I don't know if that was the Stewart or what. No, it was the 6-pounder to the north.
Yeah, it's definitely 6-pounder.
We have ourselves a Shrek team maybe moving on in on the AVRE. I can't say for sure. That's still a very, very short range for him.
Yeah, he's going to have to get to where Recce's squad is if he wants to shoot the Avra from that distance. And by the time he gets that close, he's just going to get spotted and killed. So it's probably just going to be best leaving it in rate till Avra decides to move close, if it decides to move close.
On the plus side, and I keep missing all the vehicle kills here, but down the southern front, this Panzerschreck did take out that Stewart. You see that little burning pyre, so very well done there. 204 goes down the center part of the map as well, though, which means that 51% has become 53. Although we are seeing a big German push coming in now, aren't we?
Yeah, we got a Pack 38 setting up down south, whereas no more Stewart, so it's not entirely needed, and some stuff up middle. I think he's getting that AT gun to finally finish off that Stewart and try to plug up his middle gap.
Seems like a good idea, and I realize, of course, that while this Pack 38 is kind of like using a cannon to kill a mosquito, at least there are a couple of command carriers down there, so the Bren carriers could get picked off at long last.
And then really, I just think Enzo needs some sort of armor, either down south or middle, to try and bring things back, because this is a rather tricky area of the map, is middle and southern area, because you've got a lot of hedgerows, a lot of CQC areas, where I'd say mobile tanks are much more useful compared to slower infantry support guns where you want to be able to use them at range.
Definitely seems like an interesting option right there. Now, Pack 30 is kind of shambling on forwards, looking to get inside that tree line more or less. And the first air power coming on in, Spitfire is making a gun run after that infantry.
Yep, the classic 15 Scots A-phase Spitfire. Just can't go without 15 Scots mapped without seeing it. It's quintessential to the deck, I'd say.
Kind of interesting call. Did not expect to see that kind of militancy coming out of you. We are going to see another Stewart coming to the southern side. Command carrier does go down. That Pack 38 does seem to be taking a couple shots out at an MMG carrier. We are now in Phase B, so what to expect from the Germans here?
From the Germans, probably quite a bit more infantry, more grenadiers, maybe some pioneers and stern pioneers help dealing with more of this close-range infantry engagement. The Stugs, of course, will prove to be somewhat useful. And really, a lot of this stuff comes down to support guns, flak 88s, and in this type of map where it's all very close range, I don't think that's going to help all too much. And but he's finally bringing up an AA unit, which will definitely help with the Spitfire, but I know, it's just look up north, it's very heavily defended, yeah, from above average. He has infantry all over, machine guns, commands, tanks, 6-pounders, all in good positions. So it's going to require quite a big force, a concentration, you could say, to really break through up north.
Spitfire does take out that Pack 38, but those have a nice little bit of cloud to chase him away. I do want to ask you, though, why is it that the AVRE has not been just kind of attack grounding, and we're going to see some Typhoons coming in after this anti-tank position to the south and blows it to pieces?
There we go.
But getting back to what I was just saying, so the AVRE on the northern side, he has more than enough ammunition just to start blowing these houses to smithereens. Why hasn't he done so?
Yeah, actually, it's a good observation. You can just indirect fire and just, play pop the resource, see if you can blow up a German or two. But I actually never thought about it. That's That's pretty good. But I'm guessing the reason he hasn't really been that aggressive with it is he's happier it can't get bazookaed anywhere because you got open ground all around. And
Wait,
really,
go to the south for a second.
oh,
We're going to see another dead Stewart any moment here.
oh yeah,
Aligning. 3,
two,
2, 1.
Shrek,
Oh, bailed out. There we go. That
rickety Shrek.
anti-tank fist is a thing of beauty. Okay, sorry, the tank terror. Excuse me. The Faust would be the tank
Terror.
fist, but
Yep.
ugh. All right.
You,
In any
you
case,
you do love seeing that Panzer Shrek, don't you? That
I
250
do. You know what?
meter range.
Hey man, the Americans knew a good thing when they saw it. They just took that Panther Shrek and they're like, dude, we need a better version of our own stuff. So, and there is that stroke coming on in. I don't know. Is that really going to be enough to turn around this area on the bottom, or perhaps will we need to see some air power coming out from the Germans?
I think down south would definitely help out. It's really just worrying about a 6-pounder. He doesn't have any indirect artillery fire to potentially deal with it. And it's a 2-star 6-pounder. He can position himself to shoot down that road. So the Stug's a good idea, but with that 6-pounder in play, it's going to be risky. If he can kill it, he can deal with all the infantry rather easily, and then try to break through into this more open ground area, which would suit him much better right now.
Shockingly enough, this Flak Vierling has a perfect position to just ping down this road.
Let's just wasting a bit of ammunition on that dead Stuart already.
But you know what? As long as you can get the insurance guys to pay for it, what a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Just claim it on insurance.
Exactly.
Does Panther Shrek count?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I have no
Yeah.
idea. That's not really something I've worked on too much. The Stroke 3 already takes some firepower. Driver's been knocked out, and that 2-star
Yeah.
6-pounder is doing a good amount of really hefty hits there.
Yeah, fortunately the Stug is actually pretty well armoured, so the 6-pounder's having a little bit of time to penetrate it. I actually take back what I said about the Stugs before. These are the 10 armoured runs compared to the 8 armoured, which are they're pretty good. I mean, 10 armor, that's double digits, man. Double digits.
For a ball in the sky, by the way, Focke-Wulf comes in and make a gun run at one of those anti-tank positions, and it looks like it's 2 Spitfires to the Focke-Wulf.
Yep.
And he should actually have enough power to get away, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he's faster, and he can just use AA.
That was another thing indeed. So, yep, there goes one's going to be forced on back, and the reload. The gun is in the other one away. Oh, no, never mind. Not quite.
There we go.
There we go, yeah.
And yeah, try having just a single AA unit can be life or death with your plane. Even though the Focke-Wulf could have got a raid, just having something to cover your retreat helps out always. Like, never underestimate AA.
Very, very true. You know what? Going back to what you're saying about the whole Panther Shrek thing, I think the mad love comes from the fact that just, there's 2 guys in the squad, and they're just gutsy as all get out.
Yeah.
It's hard not to feel a little bit of kind of like respect for them,
yeah. In war game, all your anti-tank units could kill stuff from 2.4 kilometers away. Well, here it's 250 meters. So, being able to get close enough so you can, see the tank, the right of its eyes, even though the guys are inside, just blowing it up. Yeah, you got to admit, there's not a better feeling than that.
Very true.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's like side shots in a King Tiger.
Oh, you had to bring that up, didn't you? Oh man, my heart's breaking again.
Yep,
enough of that. We have a Churchill coming on in. Command Churchill, so that's going to cause a lot of problems down here for the southern flank here.
Good choice.
But we are going to see a couple of indirect fire positions coming in as well. We're going to be seeing actually some true howitzers.
Oh, SK-18s. Oh boy, he's got 2 of them. Jeez, that's 300 points of artillery right there, Khan.
And you know what? At the same time, we actually have some air power coming right back in. I don't know why he's being so aggressive about this. That Flak Vierling should be able to push him away. Not super effective. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wow, yeah. Spitfire pins it down. That's...
Yeah, but there's the Focke-Wulf
to kill.
Get rid of the one picking on his little brother.
Yeah. I just want to talk about the artillery, because that's 300 points worth. Enzo only gets 100 points a tick, so he's been racing 3 minutes to be able to afford it out, and the leader unit with it. So over 3 minutes to save up for the artillery force, and hopefully he can do something worthwhile with that RT, because he needs to start picking away at some enemy units. Oh.
That definitely seems accurate, but at the same time, I kind of can't help but wonder, 2 of those cannons by themselves should be able to blow apart the HMG. I mean, look at the concentration of the British forces in the south. They're fairly clumped.
Yeah,
not perfectly.
The SK-18's lovely, because it does have a pretty high HE power of 15, but also 4-kilometer range. So it's pretty much anti-artilleryable. I'm trying to think of the counter-artilleryable.
As they can't
There
be
we
counter
go.
batteried.
Yeah, counter-batteried. Yeah, that's English, right? Yeah. And if he can use his SK-18s constantly, keep barraging, especially in his southern choke point, hopefully he can use that to make a breakthrough, because I don't think he's going to make a breakthrough up north, and really his southern sector is going to be his best bet. And
Well, that's the thing I was just checking out as you were going in about the range on them, is that looking at that range, I was like, wow, I cannot see the circle on this at all.
no, that's pretty much the entire map, 4 kilometers, in terms of
Wait a
length.
second. Shrek's going to be moving up again. Here we go.
Oh.
Depleted.
Weapons damaged, and it's out of ammo.
But you know what? Weapon damage. How often do you ever see this thing actually get repaired?
Well, he's just going to have to buy a supply truck, and the Churchill will come back to fight another day. But the main thing is, that's going to be quite a while before the Churchill can really come back and sort of being pinned down. And maybe a Stug could rush in to get the kill, but...
Actually, even better, that probably feels so good for Enzo. That Typhoon just wasted 8 rockets and an entire run on one man.
Which is out of ammo.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's gonna be the greatest feeling in a strategy game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you killed my unit? I don't care. But it seems like Enzo's starting to make its breakthrough down south. He's got all the units, the artillery's pounding away, the Churchill's pretty much bunged up, and hopefully he can finally get his push going.
And he definitely needs to. I mean, he has been down quite a bit. You can see right now we're crossing 600 tickets for the Allies and only 120 for the German hordes here. But I have to wonder, why are we seeing these machine guns? Are machine guns kind of much more of a defensive position?
For above average or Enzo?
For Enzo. Above average makes sense to me.
Once he breaks down to your open field, those MG34s are just gonna absolutely wreck face because of their long range capabilities. And considering he's fighting against the Scots, a lot of riflemen and Vickers guns, he can easily beat them with just a few MG42s.
I was going to say 2 things, yeah. I was going to say MG42s are the name of the game for the 352nd.
Oh, yeah.
And we are actually going to get that Bedford supply truck. The question is whether or not we're going to see the Strasstruppen and Grenadier Diaz. Wow, cannot speak my German today. Going to get after that. Ooh. Do you see what I see in the south?
Crocodile Rock.
I was going to say, exactly. We are going to see ourselves some reptilian play.
I honestly don't think getting the Crocodile is his best bet. He really needs some infantry to screen in front of his command Churchill to help get the kill.
But what's more, we see a Ju-87 coming in, and there goes the supply truck.
Okay, is the Churchill gonna... Yeah, there we go. It's lovely. He killed the supply truck with the Stug, and then this Ju-87 came in, finished off the Churchill. So yeah, it's a breakthrough for Enzo, right? Yeah.
And what's more, yeah, that's 54 to 46. We're completely inverted here, but we do have to be a little bit concerned. For the oh, never mind. Okay, so we have an Opel Blitz. I didn't see that coming on in. Yeah. So that one anti-air gun is going to get resupplied. But, yep, we should be okay now, I think.
Oh, this is not looking good for above average. Just all this concentration of force down south. If Enzo can start pushing through, he can make a lot of ground. And more importantly, he could possibly flank up north and try to surround that defensive line.
Now, we are going to see ourselves a Centaur coming on in. Excuse me, Crusader. I always think Centaur. Only single cannon there. But we're now also into Phase C. So, Phase C, does it get any better now for the 352nd? Or are we still stuck in the same position?
They get Jagd Panthers, and the Jagd Panther down south would just absolutely destroy everything. Not really much in terms of infantry or artillery or anything else. Really, it's just the Jagd Panthers that's the big change for 352nd. And for Scotch, maybe a Challenger tank to help deal with a Stug, some more riflemen. But both of these decks, I'd say, are very B-focused. That's where they really come into play.
Now, I was going to say, it's kind of interesting for me as well. It's like one Grenadier squad. Looks like a nose protruding over into the left-hand side. That Grenadier squad's been fighting for most of the entire game. He has no K98 ammo. He's got no LMG ammo. And he's got just a tiny bit of MP40. I'm surprised. Usually you never see that.
No, that's only one SMG dude left. And now he's gone, but he's definitely held on to that house for quite a long time. And it seems, yeah, and it seems like above average is realizing that his southern position is going a bit titch up. And now he's trying to make a breakthrough up top, which is probably his best course of action.
And that's exactly what I was going to just mention here. Looks like in the meantime, though, we're going to see rocket attacks coming after the Germans inside that little compound. But what's more, those SK-18s are throwing rounds up to the northern side. You want to check out what they're aiming. They're looking for that MMG carrier as well as the rifles, it looks like.
Yeah. Love the thing about the SK-18. They're long range. You can plant them anywhere and they can finger of death Pretty much any
Exactly.
position. It's lovely.
Does look like the AVRE is repositioning himself
Mm-hmm.
just ever so slightly, trying to get maybe some better rounds looking down into that town center.
Yeah. Got
But
another
no,
Crusader up top, so it seems like above average is on a value at AA after seeing his Churchill get knocked out but earlier.
I didn't realize that the crocodile itself is still mounting that 75 millimeter cannon. That thing
Mm-hmm.
is almost seems like it's not even fair.
No, it's pretty much a tank. It's pretty much like Command Churchill. They just got rid of one machine gun and instead put a flipping flamethrower in it. It's in the beta, you could get this thing in A phase, and by God, if you thought the Avar was crazy in A phase, the crocodile was something else.
Now, that's something I do not recall. I don't remember seeing that at all, but you would know better than I would, I would
Yeah,
honestly
it
say.
was it was like very early beta. He ended up fixing it after a few days because having a 15 armor tank with 11 AP and a flamethrower in A phase is a little bit ridiculous.
It does look like the Scots are pretty angry. They're going after that field cannon pretty darn
Hmm.
quickly, and they're swarming all over the place. We got 3 planes flying combat air patrol for a Typhoon,
Oh wow,
and the
that's a
one
lot of
Focke Wolf
spits.
is very bravely getting in on this, but I think a couple of Spitfires too many, as well as that Crusader, probably gonna be the death of him.
Yeah, that Focke-Wulf is gonna fucking hit the dust.
He's pretty well fucked.
Oh wait, no, what the?
Hey, so
What?
wow,
No.
look at his name too, Zingaluski.
Oh, he. What? How did he get?
I don't
Come
know, he's not
on.
even a proper German.
It's that's. Wow, I'm amazed that Focke-Wulf got a rare. I mean, I'm guessing if the Spitfires were higher veteranry, they probably would have got the kill, but. Well, it is what it is.
Well, we have another Focke Wolf coming
Oh.
in as revenge, so both the Spitfires are really running low on ammunition. It looks like, oh, there goes one.
And
Oh, jeez.
above average, already lost quite a few Spitfires this match, so he must be running out by now.
Very, very true. Look at the center part of the map. We still have that solitary Stuart kind of hanging on out there, don't we?
Amazing, it's still alive.
Ooh, but the Stug does buy it down in the south,
Mm-hmm.
able to take him out, and I think he might be able to stem the German advance in that particular position. But we have the
Yes.
Ju-87 coming in.
Another crocodile down south too. Jeez. So he's
Actually, a Churchill OP, so it's an observation post one.
and another croc behind it.
Ah, I didn't see
Yeah.
that. Oh, good lord.
Yeah, jeez, that's a lot. That's a lot of Churchills. I still think he needs to get some more infantry to help with his southern assault. And I do like what he's doing with his Diamond or Little John flanking around. Of course, there's no stock to really suit, so it's kind of useless. But it's a fort that counts.
Very, very true. I mean, at this point, it's not really that much of utility really being given to them, now, is it?
No, it's really just an anti-tank light tank with recon
But
optics.
there is that Jagdpanzer coming on in
Oh,
now.
yeah.
That 15 armor does look pretty darn sexy. Now, my question is that enough?
17-pounder can kill it. So if above average gets 17-pounder anti-tank gun or the Challenger tank, he can fight it. But yeah, it's a 2-star Jagdpanther, so unless you get the first hit or the drop on it, it's going to be a rather hard kill still.
Actually, we are going to see as well that first 140 millimeter cannon drop in artillery strike
Mm-hmm.
is going to be plopped just too far back. He almost called it imperfectly on the retreating German squads.
Yeah.
But it is still 51-49, which means the Germans are only down about 140?
Yeah,
50
it's-
tickets?
They just over 100, and this is still a pretty even match considering there's only 15 minutes left. Usually in regards games, it's by like 10 minutes or so you can already decide where the match is going to go, but it seems like it could be either race still.
And even more so, we are going to see this kind of, not so much a Panzerkeil coming on in from the Scots, but a pretty devastating fist. Two crocodiles, excuse me. Churchill OP, and the croc is now just even flaming out against those tree line.
Just want to make sure. But yeah, that is quite a lot of Churchills down south, and even at close range, they can kill the Jagdpanther, but it's going to be about getting close.
Well, and that's the thing. If he's using this attack route, he knows he can use it for your flamethrowers. So why is he not doing it with the AVRE? That's just one question starting to bother me quite a bit.
Well, yeah, you're definitely correct. I never thought about that, like as I said before, and I think I might start doing that in my matches, just plopping AVRE rounds here and there. It's got enough ammunition to do so, and might
Exactly,
as
and
well
he's
deny
been
the
in
enemy cover.
quite a long time. Just really shocked that he's not done it.
I'm really also above average. He could do a pretty good breakthrough up top. His northern town, if he was to get a crap ton of rifles, he could just break through. There's not really much here. 2 grenadier squads and a Panzerschreck. Pop some RT, pop some rifles, rush in, and try to cap it. Because even like its whole northern section, it's not exactly the most heavily defended.
Now, I do want to make a comment. We did see one croc going on down to the south. That was the Jagdpanther doing, Jagd Panther doing its deadly deed. But we're seeing a giant fist of Scotch infantry coming on in 3 trucks worth.
Got a 25 pounder too, so he's going to be bringing in the artillery and the off map. And I don't think he's really going to get another good hit. Maybe kill the Fusilier, but oh, no, the Crocodile killed the Fusilier. My bad.
But he did actually hit himself though too.
Yeah, he displayed himself.
Jagd Panther, though, is now going up against 3 different tanks. He takes one of them, but he's bailing on out already.
Yeah, the Churchill OP can't do anything because all it has is a machine gun. Little John goes down.
And there goes the Daimler.
And, yeah, the Jagd Panther cleaned house.
Rockets are coming on in, forcing a quick fallback, but at the same time, like, who cares? I mean, he falls back a couple of seconds, and he just starts plastering them again the second he comes off that fear. Yeah,
he's going to give above average just enough time to bring up his command Churchill, but I honestly think a Challenger tank would be a much better solution at the moment, because that could kill the Jagd Panther somewhat easily. It's just about getting the first shot.
So, rate the play with me so far. Has the Scotch play been above average, or has it been a little bit lacking?
I think down south he's doing a pretty decent job defending. Using the Churchills at close range is rather good, but I just think up north he could really make something happen trying to push through, because the Scots do pretty well in towns, not because they have crazy shock infantry, but because they just have so much infantry to begin with. You can just keep putting guys in there, and they're still pretty decent nonetheless. But he's using his airplanes well. He did lose a few Spitfires. He's starting to get a lot of infantry, some 25 pounders. It's just a few bits and bobs here and there, and really getting a heavy anti-tank gun is what he needs.
And how about Enzo? We've seen him play before, and we are actually going to see Crocodile. Both Crocodiles are gone now. They've been made into some boots, it looks like. The other Churchill goes on down. We have a Command Churchill coming on in, but what's his play like been overall?
Overall, it's been pretty decent. Early game aggression has been pretty damn effective. Man's secure at northern side rather well. And he was doing pretty decent down south till the Germans started bringing out that heavy artillery, which I will have to say has really saved Enzo quite a bit. They've been doing some
well, actually, that's actually what I was trying to talk about. What do you think Enzo's play? We've cast him before. How do you think he's doing this particular game?
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. Up north, really could have done a little bit better with the defenses. Maybe an anti-tank gun here or there. But he's managed to break through down south, and now he has the armor advantage and the artillery advantage. He just needs to make one last push. There's 10 minutes left in this match, and it's still going to come down to, I think, breaking through the southern side and getting into open ground.
And here's one question I'm thinking for myself as well. We see more cannons coming on in. The massive mothered guns as well. Why are we not seeing a support truck being plopped down right in the middle of that? Oh, there we go. Okay, never mind. We have one finally going back there now.
Yeah, he needed to get... Yeah, is that 4 SK... Yeah, it's 4 SK-18s. Jesus. That's... If you add up all the HE power of the artillery, that's 60 HE. That's
pretty
a lot
intense.
Of boom. That's a lot of big boom, but at the same time, that's 600 points worth of artillery.
Henkel, by the way, coming on in 129, taking out the AVRE, so that thing lasted for quite a bit of time, but it had way too much ammunition to really have been called useful overall.
Yeah, it pretty much has served as a brick wall, I have to say. It didn't get the kills, but it also deterred Enzo from sticking his head out of that town if he didn't want to get blown up.
And we are going to see that Challenger coming on in. The question is, what can you see right now? The answer to that is not very much.
No. He's in a pretty decent spot if that Jagd Panther was to go down the road and just where the Grenadier squad is firing right now. The Challenger could get a side shot, and even at a front shot, it can get the kill. So if he can place it in a good ambush location and try to bait the Jagd Panther out, Yacho is going to be able to kill it.
No, I actually need to apologize to you. I was doubting you before with the MG42 comment, but we are seeing right now those MG42s are keeping the gods pretty far back, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all about suppression, and the MG42 can do that at 1,200 rounds a minute. Well, 357 in game, but yeah.
What was the whole thing back in the war? That sounded like a zipper or something like that?
Buzzsaw.
Ooh.
Oh,
Sorry, continue.
Churchill.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, continue though.
No, it is. It's called Hitler's Buzzsaw.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Panther is going to come under fire from that challenger, and I don't think
hmm
he's showing him the right side. No, there we go.
Oh,
Finally.
bounce.
Oof.
That's very
Bouncing
lucky.
it. Oh my, the two titans of the battlefield shooting back and forth here. It's really whoever gets the
Yeah.
first shot off, it kind of feels like.
Yeah, this Wolverine may come in and get the final kill, yo. Because the Ad Panther is very stunned up, so if the Wolverine was to rush in, he could potentially get the kill.
And I don't know if he's going to get that shot off first. Never mind, there we go. The
Oh.
Wolverine's going to definitely get a shot.
Yeah, he's got a shot. Come
But
on,
he's
stop.
wasting it with machine gun fire.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh no, you idiot! Ah!
And that's that.
If he would have stopped it, he could have got the first shot on the Ad Panther, potentially killed it. Maybe he could have went round south and tried to flank it a bit more, but the Ad Panther just came out of high morale damage, and now it's starting to go down a little bit. So
Yikes.
if he managed to keep that thing a bit more suppressed, he could have potentially got the kill.
Well, Piat squad's coming on from the south, but on the northern side, I do want to talk about the fact that while there was a lot of blue up here before, now it looks like it's bleeding a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit stunned by that.
Yeah, it's still very even Stevens all around. And Enzo, he has 7 minutes to really make a big push. Same with above average. If his keeps up as it is, it will just be a draw. So, each
Hey, in
side
this
needs to
case,
do a push.
considering the kind of state of the battlefield right now, it draws as good as a win in my mind.
Yeah, and it's been a pretty interesting match, I have to say. Considering this has been a bit static, especially up north, it's been back and forth in the south, and just a lot of action, a lot of fighting going on, a lot of good kills. So a very good. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's dead.
that's a okay. That's a pretty lucky shot from the challenger, considering how stunned up it was. And I believe that was that was a front armor penetration too. So
Well,
double lucky.
you have to give love to that 17 pounder. That thing's a beast and a half.
Yeah, it's 17 pounds of death or love or APCR. Who
Now,
knows?
one thing that does me a little bit negative for is that all these attacking kind of Piat squads coming in, and there are quite a few squads coming in.
Yeah.
Now don't really have a whole lot of usage now, do they?
Exactly. I mean, the MMG carriers at least do something, but yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. But hey, a dead Yad Panther is still a dead Yad Panther.
That's true, but now that 204, he's gotten nowhere near to really nothing to really worry about unless these guys get nice and close. Looks like he really should be able to pressure back,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
he's not going to do it.
the 204 can only use a machine gun as its cannon is only AP, so it's not going to be able to do too much in terms of fire support department. But the artillery will.
True.
Yeah.
True, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Another Yad Panther being brought out from Enzo, so he has no hard feelings about losing his previous run. And just this artillery and machine guns is stopping above average from making this breakthrough down south, because as you just see, all the Brits are completely pinned down.
And I've seen some more firepower coming from the sky. Yep, Typhoon makes a run, actually a Fusilier. I'm not sure why he did it there. I would actually would have gone after the Flak Vierling myself.
Yeah, same. I mean, the Fusilier isn't... I mean, still a pretty scary squad, but the Flak Vierling is definitely a much more high-priority target.
Well, I was going to say, in this particular case, let the infantry fight the infantry. There's a reason you have the air power.
I actually want to note, we've seen 2 Churchill Mark 5s being brought up north here, coming in down south, and I think...
Actually, I count one of those as a 6, right?
Yeah, well, okay, one's a 6 and one's a 5.
Okay,
so...
I'm sorry, continue though.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. Just a little bit of both roads, yeah. And yeah, it's just going to be using them to try to bring your armor to fight Enzo's infantry. But yeah, Yad Panther is once again going to prove to be a rather nasty threat to deal with, especially in its position right now.
And I have to say, I would have liked to have seen some air power being levied at this back area. The indirect fire being thrown out by these SKs has just been devastating.
I mean, he's pretty much kept him in the same spot the entire match because you don't have to worry about being counter-batteried, but, you know, a Typhoon run, well... I don't think Above Average really has any, like, saturation bombers. He has the Typhoons and Spitfires, but nothing like the heavy bomber Spitfires or... They can't get Mosquitoes in 15 Scotch, but you kind of get the idea.
But even a 25-pounder, heck, even move the 25-pounder up a little bit and just start shelling that back area. Yeah, it's only one artillery piece, but I feel like...
Yeah, yeah.
Look at the damage that's been done here.
Yeah, you could definitely get in close because yeah, it was SK18. So I'm looking forward to see that kill list at the end of the match here because it just completely stops our southern assault. That's just it's stupid how much artillery out is.
And I do want to mention in the meantime as well, those Churchills that we were talking about before,
Yeah.
the Churchill 5 is still technically functional, but the Churchill, no, excuse me, the Churchill 6, yeah, is the one, he's lost all of his arms and armor, it looks like.
Yeah, seems like he got hit, yeah, by the Ike Panther, maybe?
No, actually, it was a gun run by both a Junker
Oh,
and the
wow.
Henkel 129. See, the little burning pyre to the east was what remains of the Challenger tank.
Oh, yeah, I see. That's not good losing the ammunition. Considering there's only 2 minutes left, you can't exactly resupply it fast enough. And, yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a draw, to be honest.
Frankly, I'm surprised that we're almost bang on with tickets, which never happens after the beginning of the games. I'm stupidly impressed by this.
Yeah, this is only a 1 point difference. Now, Enzo just has to capture 1% for just 1 second, and then we can get a perfect score. A perfect draw.
I'd be totally okay with that myself.
I'd love that. It's just good not round numbers, but you know
Even numbers, at least.
Even numbers, yeah, the same,
And that Yogg Panther is asserting itself pretty easily and without really any kind of problem whatsoever. Interesting, I do want to call out the IG-33 that's here.
Yep.
Not sure why it's there.
Yeah, it's not the best location considering how close it is. It's much better at long range fire support. Maybe a bit up north, just in that tree line would definitely be a better location, but yeah, it's not exactly the best spot.
Now, I might be wrong here, but it says in the unit cards 1,000 meters of range.
Yep.
If you look at the eye in the sky, though, it's like significantly more than 1,000 meters, now doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely looks like it could shoot a bit farther. I mean, yeah, same with Brumbo. The Brumbo only shoots 1 kilometer, but yeah, there we go. That's that's balance for you.
So hey, he's got to just kind of come out somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And those SKs are finally running out of ammunition, but we only have about 40 seconds left in this game, and yep, there is 1%. So I think it might be safe to say it'll still be technically a draw.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a draw in terms of game logic, but Enzo is in the lead, and he's going to be getting a point superiority.
And lest we forget, there are a couple of 25-pounders being brought in and 2-inch carriers, so that kind of worthless mortar piece coming in. But hey, here we go. It looks like coming right down to the wire. Focke-Wulf coming in, making a gun run at a Piat squad, because why the hell not?
Might as well. Only like a few seconds left in the match, and yeah, pretty much Enzo set up a pretty good defensive location for this. Oh, there we go. GG.
Wait, above average surrenders?
Yeah, I guess he didn't want to stick out for the last few seconds, and
but that just gave his opponent a victory. So now Enzo actually wins this one, 687 to 619.
Yep. That's if he just stuck around for a little bit longer, that would have been a draw. I don't know if this was a ranked match or not, but I think if it was a ranked and it was a draw, that would have been better on your ERL. But yeah, here we are.
Very true. But taking a look at the KD between the two, so 1820 to 3445, and the verse obviously for Enzo. I'm surprised it was as marked as it was there.
Yeah, Enzo got quite a lot of kills. I think in all those tanks that he knocked out, definitely did him quite a good job. Now, and most of above average kills are really in that early game, knocking out the Panzerjägers and Panzer IIIs.
Actually, yeah, you know what? You know where most of those kills come? Look at the Yogg Panther. 1 crocodile, 2 crocodiles, the Little John, the OP Churchill, the Churchill 7, the Wolverine.
Oh, damn, he's just been
It's like, what, 1,000 points right there?
Yeah, it's, yeah, I'd say it's like 800 points roughly, 800, 900, but you're close. That's a lot of kills, Colin. That's a lot of kills.
Indeed. And let's not forget the air power that's actually kind of contributed as well. The Junker 87 getting a command Churchill by itself, another Churchill and a Challenger.
Yeah, it's really good considering, because I don't exactly consider the 87G to be the best plane in game, but 2-star veterancy and air superiority helped him out quite a bit.
Very true. SK-18 only actually getting himself 5 kills, and the other one really there? No, not really.
It's not really the kills, I'm guessing. It's really just comes down to suppressing that they do. And they did knock out good chunks of infantry. They just didn't get the finishing blow.
That is true. There were a bunch of Germans kind of still fighting on the front lines, weren't there?
Yeah, same with like anti-air. They don't exactly get on the kill feed, but they do a lot of work still with all the suppression. But yeah, it's just, there's few MVP units. The Ad Panther and Airplanes really coming in heavier for Enzo, helping him with the match. And he just set up a good defensive line. Too bad he couldn't really make that breakthrough. I think maybe if he penetrated a bit up north as well and tried to break through, yeah, that would have helped, because he was still in a rather bit of a choke point in that southern sector.
That does seem accurate. Yeah. Honestly, on the other side, not a whole lot to really talk about.
Yeah.
Aviary getting a couple of kills, Honey Stewart getting a couple of kills, but nothing really else.
Yeah, it's pretty
lackluster.
Pretty lackluster, yeah. Pretty much just 1 or 2 kills per unit. Nothing really crazy.
But that brings us, I would say, to the end of this particular game.
Yep.
All things considered, a surprisingly even match. I was not expecting that on the beginning couple of minutes there, and was I?
Same. I was really thinking above average was really just going to push through, maybe up north and take it, but he kind of fought it a little bit later on in A phase, and then he was really on the defensive for the majority of the match.
And it kind of what a poor defense that was, surprisingly enough.
I still thinking he could have done something a bit better up north, try to push through into town or somewhere else. I understand why he wouldn't do that, because it's all rather close quarters engagements. It's just a little bit risky bringing in tanks and supply trucks to try and continue that assault. But still, it wasn't that heavily defended.
Very true. Okay, if I can pivot real quick, actually from the end of this game. Now, Rangru, you and I are members of a small but very, very committed community, and we have something coming up this weekend. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I believe on Saturday we are having a 1v1 tournament. It's going to be during Saturday, I believe. It's probably going to be like midday European time, or UK time. And yeah, it's going to be a good tournament. Me and Khan are going to try and cast as much of it as we can. And if you are interested in participating, go to www.countdown.com. I'll leave it in the description of my channel. I saw Euro 2, Khan.
Indeed, I will. We were talking in theory about maybe streaming a little bit live at the same time. Yep. I've actually never streamed officially before. And I know Rang's a big boy like me, so we might have a couple things going on, but we will cast a heck of a lot of the tournament now, won't we?
Yeah, we're going to definitely do the finals and see where we can go from there. Probably the semi-finals as well. And yeah, hopefully be a good tournament. I love a good tournament. I love a good 1v1 tournament. It brings out the best players in game and brings out some damn good matches.
That's all we can hope for now, isn't it?
Exactly.
But all right, so I'm going to put that in my description. You'll put it in yours.
Yep.
But folks, thank you so much for joining the two of us today. This has been Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Take it easy.
We'll see you all soon. Have a great day.